Good to have you back with us. Hello, we are ready to dive into the next session with a short delay, but we'll try to make up for that in time. And obviously, I can understand that you might be happy even with a couple of minutes of extra break time, getting back rested for taking in new information, which I can guarantee you will come because we're going to have a very interesting talk here. Big and small company collaboration, big corporates and tiny startups both benefit hugely from working together. So join us to explore how innovation ecosystem managers can bring the right partners together. We're so glad to have a moderator for this also, Faruk İnaltekin from Turkey will be moderating this session with a couple of interesting guests. Oh, here we have him. Good to have you with us, Faruk. I'll just stop talking to make sure we don't spend any more time. You take it away and enjoy the session.
Okay, Lars, thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Faruk İnaltekin from Bilkent CYBERPARK from Turkey. I'm very happy to be a part of that virtual conference of this year. In this session, we will be discussing about big and small company collaboration. Due to some streaming problems, we have lost some time, so I will just make a very brief introduction on the issue and give the stage for our very valuable speakers. You will be listening, but just to give some introduction on those such big and small company collaborations, we are observing that technical knowledge, know-how, and agility is coming from that small company. And together with that, production capability, logistical capability, experience, and also financial support is coming from that big company. At this point, I will just introduce three speakers in order and then give the stage for the first speaker. Our speakers are Björn Westling from Johanneberg Science Park, Sweden, Aline Figlioli from University of Brighton, UK, and Robert Alderson, Berggren Law Company from Finland. As I said, the stage is now for Björn Westling.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Björn Westling. I'm representing Johanneberg Science Park in Gothenburg, Sweden. I would first like to thank the organizers for letting me speak here at this virtual conference. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a scheme that we are launching in the Science Park called Small Meet Large. It's about putting small and large companies together for collaborative innovation work, something we believe could have a very large positive impact. In recent years, many large companies have become increasingly interested in collaboration with small innovative companies and startups. The general driving force being that big companies and startups have complementary properties, which combined together may spark innovation. On one hand, many large corporations have streamlined their processes to become more efficient in offering their core products and services, thereby creating a climate and a culture that doesn't support or even actively fights the process of innovation itself. Additionally, innovation activities are perceived as risky, both from a financial and a brand perception point of view. Thus, many large firms struggle to be on the forefront of innovation. On the other hand, startups and SMEs are flexible, agile, and have a strong entrepreneurial drive. What they lack in resources and market channels, they often make up by having talented and visionary founders and leaders. When the complementary strengths of both small and large companies are brought together, great new opportunities for ideas, innovation, and growth arise. However, the process of making small and large players work together is not trivial or straightforward. There are several typical problems that may hamper the collaboration process. One typical such issue is the tendency for large companies to use their leverage by creating supplier-customer relationships, where the small company will assume a subordinate role in carrying out the objectives set by the large company. The many differences that exist between small and large companies in culture, financial strength, technologies, strategies, organization, etc., can be summarized in the word asymmetry. Much of the small meet large concept lies in dealing with these asymmetries to create a more level playing field between large and small. Now, you have all seen this schematic more times than you care to remember. And of course, open innovation has been presented as a solution to large companies struggling with innovation for over a decade. We have seen many large firms trying to institutionalize open innovation by opening accelerators to which they hope to attract innovative companies. In Sweden, this has also happened, and there are several examples of large corporations that have established innovation hubs or accelerators to foster relationships with startups and SMEs, including well-known multinationals such as AstraZeneca with the BioVenture Hub, Volvo with Mobility X Lab, Ericsson with its Garage, and ABB's Synerleap. So where automotive, pharma, and ICT have taken the lead, there are still some sectors lagging behind, such as the real estate and construction sectors. Now, Johanneberg Science Park is a science park specializing in sustainable urban development. And our stakeholders include the university, the city of Gothenburg, and 13 firms that are co-owners and are partly funding our activities. Now, the majority of these firms are in the construction and real estate sectors. We also run several member networks for startups and SMEs with a total of about 300 companies. With this background, it was decided in 2019 to develop the small meet large process in order to create innovation opportunities by bringing companies from these two groups together in a managed and facilitated process of collaboration and co-creation in the built environment sector. Now, small meet large is a structured process that is intended to run over the course of 6 months, and it is divided in 4 distinct parts. As preparation, an innovation audit is needed to gain an understanding of the large companies' plans to develop their own business and what interest they have in creating innovative offers. At this point, it is also necessary to ensure management buy-in for the coming process. Also, an analysis of the SME's opportunities, capacity, capabilities, and needs will be made. For the matchmaking, we will look at, for instance, overlaps and matches of culture, strategy, and technology between the small and large companies to find the best matches and create shortlists of potential partners for each company. Meetings will take place during a matchmaking event where potential partners will follow a structured meeting agenda. The most challenging part may be to get the collaboration going. From our pilots, we see that there are numerous issues connected with the practical work. For instance, the not invented here syndrome, aversity to change, intellectual property issues, and conflicting timescales. Now, this is where we as a science park will provide support, coaching, and structuring to avoid that the innovation process stalls. Finally, let's look at what outcomes could be expected. Basically, there is no fixed format of the outputs from this process. We see a wide range of possible outcomes, such as joint ventures, new products on the market, proofs of concept, or prototypes. The important factor being that additional value has been created for the partners greater than which each of them could have done on their own. In order to qualify as an innovation, we expect the end result to generate value for a third party or parties, monetary or otherwise. As an example, in our pilot recently, a real estate firm collaborated with a small company in the IoT business to create a network of connected smoke alarms in their residential buildings and developed a business model around this, including systems for control and communication. Now to conclude, why should a science park do this? Well, many science parks work closely with both large and small companies, and they have realized the potential that can be unleashed when innovative collaborations start. STPs are also aware of and used to deal with the challenges and perceived obstacles that slow down or stop collaboration. And players that have close links to large companies, small companies, and innovation systems and academia. This means that they are seen as impartial and unifying actors. We believe that our pilot, together with the work that we have done, can make small meet large, a well-functioning and powerful process that can be widely replicated by many stakeholders. Thank you for your attention, and I hope to have some interesting questions later on in the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you, Björn, for your great insights with that colorful presentation. If you have any questions for Björn or for the other speakers, you can write that on the main page Q&A session. I will be following that part. And the next speaker is Aline Figlioli from UK. She will be sharing their experience on a project called Inspire. And Aline, stage is yours. Thank you.
Hi, I'd like to thank you, the International Association of Science Parks in the areas of innovation, for inviting me to be here today and be able to share with you the Inspire methodology. My name is Aline Figlioli, and I'm a researcher at Centring. Well, we know that an extensive part of the time from incubators and science park managers is dedicated to create partnerships for the startups and scale-ups that are in their innovation habitats with other organizations. But, well, we know that part of the value that is created in these relations are not absorbed by the SMEs. Having this in mind and all the challenges that SMEs face when they engage in partnerships is that Centring developed together with other partners, Inspire. As you can see, the title of my presentation is Learning How to Dance with Gorillas, the Inspire methodology as a mitigator in the relation asymmetry between SMEs and large companies' partnerships. As you can see, learn how to dance with gorillas. Gorillas is not a very easy, it's not very easy to dance with, I assume. Well, as you can see, the small companies face lots of difficulties when engaging with a strategic cooperation, strategic collaborations to innovate, mainly with big companies. One of the first challenges is it's difficult to find the right channels to approach multinational companies, big companies. There are diverse ways to approach them. Second, for small companies that has few resources, it's very difficult to the allocation of time to these partnerships. Then there's a lot of attention. The collaboration endeavors is time consuming. Well, and when you are dealing with big companies, the difference in resources are enormous. It's huge. Then there's another challenge that you have to overcome, how to deal with this difference in information. And this third thing, well, the SME can be a target for the big company. They can become an acquisition target. Fifth thing, the directives from the parent may override the parent company. The big company can be override by the local multinational companies' decisions. So thinking about all these challenges for the small companies, a group of 8 partners around all Europe, as you can see here in the map, from United Kingdom to Finland to Greece, get together in the Inspire consortium and created the Inspire project. The Inspire project, it's about support the companies in order for them to create and retain value from these collaborations. This consortium was led by Centring, that is the Center for Change, Entrepreneurship and Innovation Management of the University of Brighton. Is a core that is it's a Center for Research and Enterprise Excellence of the university. Centring is very special, it's very particular, because we do research, but research that has impact in practice, impact in economical and social dimensions. And, well, as you can see, our strategy is to close the loop between research and practice. So we start Inspire by researching a variety of small companies, from different tech intensities, from low to high tech, different life cycles, startups to companies that are already in the renewal phase, different sizes, micro, small, medium, in different sectors, including services and manufacturing. So we researched about 113 companies in total. And after 3.5 years, we have these results that you are seeing on your screen now. We had a full methodology to support the companies in dealing with open innovation activities. I will talk about each of them very briefly, but the entire methodology can be found here at this website. It's the web platform. It's inspire-smes.eu, and we have in different channels from YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well. So what features we have in the website of Inspire? We have the Inspire Canvas. That's a visual tool for you to understand, for the SMEs to understand the innovation journey and what are the challenges that they have been going through in these partnerships and what gaps they have in resources in order to realize, to be sure, what they need from the partners. We have a OI readiness test that will show you how ready the company are to engage with big companies and what they should focus on to improve their competences in order to engage in that partnership. We have a handbook that explains all the methodology. And as I told you, all this methodology was created based on real cases, the 113 cases for all around Europe. We have 128 tools classified by the main issues that companies find when they engage with innovation partnerships, and 7 videos to inspire the companies for them to find a solution for their problems. The Inspire framework is based in, as you can see here, in the OI structure. It has OI, Open Innovation, and the first part is the innovation journey with the different phases, and the main question is, what stage of the innovation journey does your challenge belongs to? The second part is the managed innovation, how to prepare the company to actually, engage with this partnership without losing value. This is the Inspire Canvas. You can find it, download it, and actually build your own canvas on the Inspire platform. The OI readiness test is the first link in the page, in the web page. You will be able to do your self-assessment and discover, how good you are in each of the phases. This is the results. How good you are in each of the phases to develop internal activities, and external activities. You can record your results. The Inspire Handbook, as I told you, explained completely the methodology. And we have, as I told you, 128 tools, but we'd like to present it in a very smart way. So we create different filters for you to access it. And how it happens. The methodology, imagine that you are here in the platform and you have a problem in opportunities exploration. That is the first phase. Imagine that you find out that you want to explore a new business idea, then you click here. The page will filter for you the best tools and the best cases then it's smart enough to give you the exactly resource that you need to become more professional and handle this partnership. You can save and can bookmark all the tools and cases that you prefer to use, to read and use afterwards. Well, this is a very brief introduction to Inspire methodology. I hope you have time to get into the site and know more about it. Well, this is my contacts and the co-authors that worked in the project as well. Thank you very much.
Aline, I really thank you for your commitments from Inspire project. I think it's very interesting to solidate the issue with dancing with gorillas. It's very interesting. Thank you again. As to repeat, if you have any questions, you can use the main platform's Q&A session. And now the next speaker is Robert Alderson from Berggren, Finland. Yes, Robert, now the stage is yours.
Hello, my name is Robert Alderson. I'm very pleased to be here to speak with you today. The topic is bridging the gap between large corporations and startups through intellectual property. I would also like to recognize my co-author on the abstract, Mariella Massaro. Mariella and I are both partners at the European intellectual property firm called Berggren, which is located in Finland. So today I would like to speak with you very briefly about partnerships in open innovation ecosystems, the benefits and challenges, the unique role of science parks in areas of innovation in open innovation ecosystems, particularly as bridge makers. And third, the importance of intellectual property management in open innovation environments. So this is I guess, an illustration of sorts of the open innovation paradigm. And in green, we have the startups that are typically flexible and are more often involved in disruptive technologies. And in blue on the left, we have the big corporations that have the ability to scale up in global distribution. So this illustration shows that I guess that the opposites attract idea can even apply here. I don't mean to suggest with the big corporation image with the smokestack and the pollution drifting toward the east is representative of big corporations. But as you can see, the idea of the green startups, the blue big corporations coming together to bring their strengths together is basically what we're talking about. I would like to draw your attention to these two publications. The first one actually is where the idea from the previous slide came from, the bringing together different parties in new combinations. The second publication states that small and medium enterprises that have a bundle of IP rights are more likely to experience high growth rates. So there's a paradigm associated with open innovation, and it needs to be recognized that open innovation is complicated, and it is a journey of multiple phases, and that large companies often get stuck. So in order to be successful, the various stakeholders can be connected through appropriate bridge makers. This comes from an Accenture report that is cited at the bottom of the slide. And bridge makers, in order to connect the dots between participant solutions and markets, are very important. So who are these bridge makers? Well, we would like to suggest that STPs and AOIs are in fact uniquely suited to be bridge makers between the various stakeholders. And this is mainly because STPs and AOIs have decades of experience in interacting with various types of entities and people of different cultures. So STPs and AOIs, even though they're primarily business-oriented, they're also inspired by a broader vision of the economic, social, and innovation ecosystem. And putting all these things together is important for an open innovation model to succeed. because these open innovation ecosystems are complex, it is important that IP management, intellectual property management, is thought about at the outset. If IP management is not thought about at the outset in a systematic way, there's the potential for delays and disputes to develop. So what do we recommend? Well, we recommend that STPs and AOIs have at least consider IP management as an important, perhaps a high-value service that it can provide. IP management checklist can include, for example, before entering into any collaborations, to have a confidentiality agreement at the outset. This is important because if let's say the small or SME has know-how or a trade secret and discusses this with a large corporation, that trade secret protection is lost. But with the protection of a confidentiality agreement, the parties can freely discuss what their ideas are while still maintaining ownership and protection of what their contributions to a project might be. The basic IP management checklist also can include a patent landscape analysis of existing patents in the area. So, in other words, if a joint project would potentially infringe on IP that's already, intellectual property that's already out there, that needs to be evaluated. It's also important that the management of IP take into consideration legal systems of other participants, particularly the IP systems, and there are some differences in IP systems from around the world. This also should include background IP technology and evaluation of background IP technology that will be used in the joint project. That is, who is putting what into the joint project with respect to intellectual property that already exists. On the other side, going forward, what are the ownership and conditions of use of the foreground IP and technology, that is the IP and technology that results from the project. So ownership and decision-making power with respect to IP, who makes the decisions about what jurisdictions the intellectual property rights should be sought, who makes the decisions about what type of agreements with third parties will be made. Will there be exclusive or non-exclusive rights in certain territories, or will there be use restrictions? So these are all areas where IP management is important. This can be done with an internal IP manager or a third-party IP manager. We also would recommend that STPs and AOIs from time to time conduct events related to intellectual property so that the people in the residents of STPs and AOIs can have a better understanding and be more aware of these issues. So we appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. I look forward to and actually encourage you to ask any questions you may have in the live session. I'm available to discuss this and look forward to attending the session. Thank you very much.
Dear Robert, I will thank you for your insight put on the issue. I think emphasizing Science and Technology Park's commitment on that collaboration part as a bridge makers is very important, as we are in an IASP Congress. And currently I'm checking the Q&A part. There isn't any question as of now. I think you made a very great job, so we don't have any questions. And with that chance, having no questions right now, if any of our speakers, if any of you have anything to say, I mean, anything to take away from here, anything to emphasize, any success story for just a couple of sentences, I will be glad to listen to those if you have still some minutes. Is there any?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I would like to tie what I said.
I think all of you have, okay. Very good. Happy to hear that.
Yeah, Aline made a very good point to say about engaging in partnerships without losing value. I appreciated the use of the gorilla reference, and also Lars with his elephant and dog. I think without even really knowing what each of us was going to say, I think our presentations really fit well together. I think the idea, just to kind of summarize what my point was, is that intellectual property is an important, let's say, it levels the playing field. If the small and medium enterprise protects what it is going to contribute to a collaborative environment, it will level the playing field, and that dog will be bigger or the elephant will be smaller. The only other thing that I will add is that my colleague and I, Mariela Massaro, will be in Gatherly all afternoon or much of the afternoon. If you have any questions, if you can't think of any questions now but have questions later, I'll be there and available to speak with you about more about this.
Robert, there's a question for you. It has arrived right now while you're speaking. Do you have any advice on valuation of IP? It seems a small question, but the answer is quite long, I guess. Valuation. Can you say something on that?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Valuation is a very, as you said, it's a very complex issue, and there are different ways to value IP. Whoever asked the question, I would encourage them to come speak with me, because a lot of the valuation issues depends on what type of IP you have and where you have the IP. Is it just in a single country or abroad? But valuation of IP really is its own topic. But I will be happy to speak with whoever that is in Gatherly.
Yeah, I totally agree, Robert, because it's another world, another topic itself, and quite complex. It cannot be answered in just a question. So if somebody would like to touch any of us, any of our speakers, you can do this through the platform. And one point here, as our speakers are from different institutions, one from Science Park, one from university, and one from a law company, different players of the ecosystem. So I'm happy to listen those different perspectives. And with that, Aline, what would you like to say lastly?
Yes, well, I'm from Centering. That is a research center that aims to close the loop in our research. Everything that we do has to have impact in the real world. This is our mission, actually. Then now we are using Inspire to deliver intervention for small companies in partnership with a private accelerator that is just in front of our university. It's a beautiful building in front of our university. And then including IP, we have IP tools to help them to know what it is and try to be more aware of how to protect it, because, well, it's really important, including for us in the university, then it's a critical issue. So for us to have this platform that allows us to provide services for companies, it's crucial, because then we can create the soul for this accelerator. The accelerator has the buildings, the body, but we have to animate it, and we complement the services that they provide with more soul from the university itself.
Okay, Aline, thank you. It's a very good conclusion. And Björn, what would you like to say?
Actually, I'd like to ask Aline a question. I was really intrigued by the presentation of the Inspire project. Did you also look at the large companies and see what sort of interventions could be made there? Because in our experience, it's often there where the going is slow. because as it were, small companies are flexible, whereas large companies are less flexible, which means that they are less perhaps prepared to work with new partners. So have you done any research on that in your project?
Well, the Inspire project focused on 350 cases of small companies, not the other way around, but it would be great to do a complementary research on that. But it focused mainly in the issues from the SMEs itself. Although, if you look at the platform, it's big companies can use it as well. Although, of course, the issues there we filter by the main issues of small companies. And it's completely free to use. All the tools cases are there. Just go there, find one issue, try to use the tool. And it's like, although for small companies, we know that if they have a coach or a mentor, it would be much easier to use them, of course.
Right. I'm certain that we will make use of that opportunity. Thank you very much for your inspiring talk. And thanks also to Robert. I think that intellectual property is certainly one of the mainstays of these collaborations, and in order to succeed, one must really see to it that the parties sort of no one gets upper hand, or nobody is perceived as losing and winning and so on, which I believe could be the role of the facilitating partner, such as a science park.
Okay, we are almost end of our time. I would like to thank you, all of you, one by one, for your commitments on the issue. And I would like to, in the last part, I would like to repeat, if anybody would like to touch any of our speakers, they can do this throughout the platform. And thanks to you for joining this session. And enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Faruk.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Pleasure.